Fall Start, a college football podcast for everyone and everyone else. I'm your host, John Buhler, lead writer for Fansided. I'm joined today by a man who is absolutely basking in the tri-state area having a sports day from hell. Whether it's the Giants losing to the winless Saints, the winless New York Jets losing to your Dallas Cowboys, or the New York Yankees losing to America's hat, the Toronto Blue Jays. Cody Williams, content director, fansided.com. How are you?
Got some mixed emotions too because Bo Nix beat the Eagles, which I'm happy about the Eagles losing, but Bo Nix's success brings me no joy. But it's been a good Sunday so far. Doing pretty good, man. How about you?
I mean, I saw Colin Cowherd say it's always great to root for Sean Payton, and I'm like, that's like rooting for the
Cancer?
act the cancer, the Axis powers. I don't even know. I'm not even
The
gonna say.
Axis power.
I think
Oh God.
that encompasses how I feel about that. So, sports Pat Oswalt's doing cartwheels in the streets. Apparently, Albert Breer, our Minute Media colleague, didn't know that they brought a smoke machine into the Broncos locker room when they went for a club dub, and neither did I. But apparently, it happened.
We hate that. We hate everything about that. That's nonsense. And we're strictly no nonsense. If there's one thing I can say about fall start is that we are strictly no nonsense.
No, we don't like nonsense. We would rather have that fog machine filled with nitrous oxide so they're giggling their asses
That's
off.
right.
I think if you laugh in Philadelphia, they punch you in the face or they stab you in a parking lot like you're Mark Sanchez.
That's right. Getting, just right outside the delivery truck.
You want fries with that? Uh,
Oh God.
we are so tired. We are so cooked. We are so here for you. We obviously fall started here today, and we're gonna get rolling like we do on every Sunday, Monday show with our first and 15
Mhm.
of Stephen B. Swift's second take. I'm really, really glad that nobody got fired today, so I didn't have to work. So that was
Right.
really cool. But AP Top 25 has been released. I'll rattle off all 25 teams, and we'll work our way through the quintiles.
Mhm.
Uh, First five are Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M.
Mhm.
6 through 10, Oklahoma, Indiana, Alabama, Texas Tech, Georgia. 11 through 15, LSU, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Missouri, Michigan. 16 through 20, Notre Dame, Illinois, BYU, Virginia, and Vanderbilt. What year is this? And then to round out the top 25 at 21, you've got Arizona State, 22, Iowa State, 23, Memphis, 24, South Florida, and 25, Florida State. Cracking the top 25. I'm looking here. I don't see Penn State or Texas anywhere, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah, I was pretty convinced that one of them was probably still going to end up. And I mean, it was pretty damn close. Let's be clear about that. 147 points for Florida State at number 25, and then Texas still has 111. Penn State still has 97 voting points. So like it's not far off from one of them still being ranked, but thankfully the AP voters we're quick to dog them when they get it wrong, but they deserve some credit for getting that right for sure.
100%. So I'm gonna look at the top five. Let's kind of work our way down
Yeah.
here. I'm good with the top four. You can really do that in any order. I'm kind of thrilled to see A&M be ahead of Oklahoma because I think that they've been a little bit more battle tested. I think they
Yeah.
played better teams. I think they don't give me a paper tiger vibe like Oklahoma does. So that's kind of my thoughts with the top five right now.
Yeah, I think that's the right call in terms of rankings. Like, in my opinion, like rank, especially, I mean, AP Top 25 and the College Football Playoff, like it should all be resume rankings. And like Texas A&M has a better resume to this point. But if we're going to continue that, Miami should be the number one team in the country. They
I
have
would
a
agree
better
with that.
resume than Ohio State. Like that's just point blank period. The truth of the matter. You have a win over Notre Dame. You have a win over a Florida team who, yes, that's not like a huge quality win, but it is a Power Four team that you did beat. You have a win over a South Florida team who is ranked once again. And now you have a win over a Florida State team who is still ranked that has a win over Alabama. Like no team in the country is matching that resume. And all the while, Ohio State's signature win was over a Texas team that is no longer ranked and does not have a win over a Power Four team at this point.
I had a feeling you were going there, and we'll talk about that, and I'll be reflected as such there in our next segment. Miami also has the best road win of anybody this
Yeah.
season too. Going into Doak Campbell and just chopping the Seminoles in half.
Yeah. I mean, like you're going to see 28-22 on the final score line, but that game was not that close.
No, no, no. It was This is more impressive than Alabama beating Georgia between the hedges, more impressive than Georgia beating Tennessee and Neyland, and I believe even more impressive than what A&M beating Notre Dame in South Bend. So those are
Yeah.
probably, and then I'm trying to think what the other really good high quality road win would be, but those are certainly easy ones to rattle off right now.
I mean, there haven't been a ton to this point. We're like, we talk a lot about college football, so it's easy for us to not realize that the season is still young, man. We're not even halfway through this mess yet.
All right. Looking at 6 through 10, I look at all those teams, whether that's Oklahoma, Indiana, Alabama, Texas Tech, and Georgia. I look at all of them. I'm like, those feel like playoff teams right now. I'm not sure all of them will make it, but through relatively the halfway point, they're they're going to be probably in our playoff rankings here pretty soon, pretty effortlessly.
Yeah.
You can pick holes in them for why they're not in the top 10, but or not top five, but in the top 10, they feel justifiable.
Yeah, 100%. This is the range I probably have the least amount of issues with, if I'm being honest with it. Like, you can make cases for any of these teams, especially based on their resumes, like being in different spots. Like Alabama and Georgia, yes, they both have one loss, but they also have high quality wins, the highest quality wins of that entire group, I would say, to this point.
Yeah.
And but then the other teams, they have a zero in the loss column, which does matter, and they do have Power Four wins, which does matter at this point as well.
Yeah. Oklahoma's got a ranked win. Texas Tech, I don't think they have a ranked win, but near
I
enough.
mean,
Like since
Utah was ranked when they beat them. They're not
Mhm.
ranked now, so splitting
And then
hairs.
Cincinnati is the first team out. So
Yeah.
it's right there. Don't really have many qualms with that. 11 through 15. These teams, like one of them is going to have to be in the top 12 for us here. Like a kind of against our will. There's teams here where like, okay, Georgia Tech and Mizzou are undefeated, but to what degree are they that good? There's faults with LSU. Michigan, I'm wondering if they're going to figure it out with Bryce Underwood. I like Tennessee, but also I don't trust Tennessee as much as I want to.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is the range where I don't necessarily. I think if I had one qualm to pick, I would probably have Tennessee above LSU. That's probably a qualm I
Yeah.
would have picked last week as well. But looking at that, that's what I would say. And like Georgia Tech, we're both high on this Georgia Tech team, and I don't mean to disparage Georgia Tech when I say this, but their resume is very flimsy right now. It's not all that impressive. Like your signature wins over Colorado and Clemson, two teams that don't look much of any real threat this season. So like. I I would probably knock Georgia Tech down just a little bit just because the strength of record just really isn't there for me right now.
Yeah, they're kind of like what Missouri was last year when they got
Mhm.
off their hot start. I'm like, we can kind of see through this. And although Mizzou has not really played anybody good, Kansas is decent,
And
and
South Carolina too.
South Carolina too as well. But like, Mizzou is like Oregon, where like they're just beating the tar out of people. And I think
Yeah.
that like you have to respect that. Same thing with Indiana, over there in the top 10.
Yeah, and Georgia Tech's not beating the tar out of people.
No,
Let's not forget that they were on a bye this week. In the previous week, they were escaping Wake Forest.
who's actually not bad. I think
No,
Demont Claiborne might be maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. He might be the best running back in the ACC. He's really good.
that's a low bar, but you might be right.
Yeah, this is the quarterback and wide receiver centric league here. Uh, then looking at what would be 16 through 20, these teams are all good. I still kind of wonder like, are they really playoff viable? Like Notre Dame's got those two losses out of the gate. Illinois got its skull kicked in by Indiana. BYU is certainly on the come up, but like again, losing Retzlaff and then obviously getting Bear Bachmeier taking over, transferring in from Stanford, he's made a huge difference there for the Cougars.
Mhm.
Virginia is kind of a newcomer, and then Vanderbilt lost its biggest game, ever this past weekend. But like these teams, I think will all stay in and around the top 25. I'm kind of wondering if they're ever really going to get up into the top 12 range.
Yeah,
Maybe not BYU though. I think they could.
I think that when I look at this range, my big takeaway is that probably one or two of them are going to prove themselves, and the other three are going to drop out. Three or four
Yeah.
are going to drop out, just because like even BYU, like Bear Bachmeier's a hell of a lot of fun. I've enjoyed watching BYU so far this season, but they also haven't played anybody, man. You have wins over Portland State, Stanford, East Carolina, Colorado, and West Virginia. Like
No.
you played the bottom of the Big 12 to this point, and then three teams that just can't hold a candle to a program that's run as well as BYU with Kalani Sitake.
Yeah.
Virginia, like credit to pulling out wins over Louisville, credit to pulling a win out against Florida State the week prior, but like I don't know if you've seen the numbers from Bill Connolly. They had a 10% win expectancy against Louisville. They're luck boxing their way a little bit, but hey, luck works in your favor and you're not going to hold luck against the team. But this just feels like some of these teams are not as paper tiger isn't even the right word. It almost feels like they're just a little flimsy right now.
Yeah, kind of artificially inflated. I feel with BYU, like you look at the other teams that are really good that we know in the Big 12, like whether that's Texas Tech, whether that's Iowa State, whether that's Cincinnati, blanking on another team here too, Arizona State. I kind
Yeah.
of wonder like they seem a little bit more, there's more to them than I think BYU at this point.
Yeah, I mean BYU like if BYU proves us wrong, then I'm not gonna like be hesitant to believe in BYU. We just haven't seen it against the high level competition yet.
Yeah, the floor is really high there under
Mhm.
Sataki, and they've taken massive advantage of. They were always a Power Four team. They were just
Yeah.
independent, and they've become they become LDS, Notre Dame, and they're thriving in the Big 12, and it works for them. So I'm really happy for the Cougars out there, and but we don't forget about them. We don't do that
We did
here.
not anymore. Only once. One time mistake.
And I feel like Virginia, they're this year's SMU.
That
They're
I could see that. That
the
makes a lot
only
of sense.
the only difference is the NC State loss isn't going to carry the weight as like the BYU loss
Right.
was a year ago for the Ponies.
Yeah, but I mean to the point with Virginia and to the point with Georgia Tech, we also got to talk about the fact that the ACC is worse than it was a year ago. So like I can crap on their resume a little bit, but these are obviously two very good teams. And in this league, very good. It might be good enough to get you to Charlotte, quite frankly.
I think that's fair. And then rounding out the top 25, Arizona State, Iowa State, Memphis, South Florida, Florida State. It's good to see two G5 teams get their love here. You know, they've Memphis is also the first team in the country to go bold and bold and bold and
That's
bold.
right.
Um, and I think all five of these teams are varying levels of good. I think Florida State's we probably jumped the gun with the Seminoles a little bit too much, but I look at Memphis, South Florida, Arizona State, and Iowa State like they're going to be in it until like the penultimate week of the season.
Yeah, I probably have the least amount of like where these teams are actually ranked. I probably have like Iowa State's always been a team that probably should have been in this range the entire time. They just had a zero in the loss column, so what can you do about it? But you go back and they vaulted up in the rankings after beating Kansas State. Turns out Kansas State's just dog water. Like that's just what it is. And so like and Arizona State kind of working its way back in here after taking a loss. Like I'm happy with, and I'm happy to see Florida State staying in the top 25 because yes, you got worked by Miami, but like Miami might be the best team in the country. Like that's gonna happen.
And I think, people are starting to see that, Virginia maybe, Virginia seems to be calm in those trying situations. And I think
Yeah,
that that's a skill that a lot of teams don't have.
correct.
Um, wonder how Miami is going to do later on when it gets close.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Sorry, I'm smiling big because Vladdy Jr. just hit a grand slam against the Yankees. It's 9-0.
Uh, let's go, dogs. Oh man. Again, like I said, it's a miserable day there for the tri-state
It
area.
really is. It really, really is.
Dart did not look good today.
He he looked okay. I mean, the Giants' offense is just bad, man. Like the
Yeah.
offensive line is not where it needs to be, despite the fact that of how much capital that they've invested in it. You don't have Malik Neighbors, which I mean that makes what Wandale Robinson or Darius Slayton your number one wide receiver. I like Scattaboo, but like I'm not sure he's necessarily the guy that you want as a lead back. Like I think he's much
No.
better. He would be much better in a committee if Tyrone Tracy were healthy. Like that, it's not in a good spot. Still doesn't really excuse losing to the Saints though.
I will say though, and I'll give the Saints credit here, just for comic purposes. I think they're well coached. I think that their
Yeah,
staff's pretty good. Brandon Staley is a really good defensive coordinator. He's not head coach. We've
yeah,
already,
no, no,
yeah.
not at all. But Kellen Moore might be like Kellen Moore. I mean, he's been around the block despite being as young as he is. Like he's been in this league for a long time coordinating, and yeah,
I mean, he and Papa Doug are like this. They're tighter than Papa Doug is with the sun. But
That's
like,
right.
Spencer Rattler looked decent. Defense was playing pretty good. Was watching the red zone today, and
Spencer Rattler. I looked this up because I wasn't sure. Still a year younger than Tyler Shuck, which yeah, that's
he
just a
played
wasted draft pick.
he played like 5 or 6 years at Oklahoma and South Carolina too.
And Tyler Shuck played like nine. So
Last NFL thought before we move on to our playoff rankings. Baltimore Ravens are hellacious ass.
there, I believe it's Zach Orr. Is that their DC? He needs to be gone yesterday, brother. This is awful.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Rush is starting because Lamar Jackson's hurt and everything like that. We got a sad dog over there. She's like,
Oh,
I bet all my milk bones on the Ravens. They're my Super Bowl pick, man. I had them to win it all.
yeah, I did as well. So not what you want. Not what you want.
Not what you want. And I think if when John Harbaugh goes to the podium and they ask him about if he's going to be playing in January, he says, "Playoffs? You kidding me?"
That's right.
Our projected 12 team brackets through 6 weeks here. I had a very hard time finding a 12 team.
I found one, and it's definitely not one that I would assume you have in your bracket.
We'll see, but I do feel we probably have 8 or 9, maybe 10
Yeah,
teams here that are probably the same. So I'll let you start. I would assume your number one is the same as my number one.
it's the Miami Hurricanes, man.
Yeah,
Like they have the best resume in the country to date. And then going back to the point about the ACC, unless Mario really Mario's this season, there's not a whole lot of challengers that are going to be coming for that crown.
I will say though, I think there may be some experience there with Heatherman on defense. I think they
Yeah.
may come back to haunt them a little bit, but like Beck's playing out of his mind. Malachi Tony just uh,
I saw
incredible.
someone compare him to Tyreek Hill, and then I watched some of the highlights from last night, and I'm like, that's not that far off, man. Dude is just faster than everyone on the field.
It's pretty incredible. Ribbon Bain Jr. is gonna be the first pick in the draft. He's gonna go to like the he's gonna go to the Jetty Jets.
I need the Cowboys to tank. Just actually trade both first round picks and go get Ruben Bain Jr. Do it. I don't give a damn.
Baltimore, Kirk Cousins will gladly take your first round pick.
That's right.
Cincinnati, I don't know how you're doing right now for the Lions, but you can take our first round pick too.
I'm gonna assume not well.
No. I bet they're slaughtering the NL right in front of him at Dan Campbell Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Miami's number one team in the country. I don't think it's close. At two, against my better judgment, I've actually not number two. Never mind. At number two for me, I've got the Oregon Ducks at two.
I also have the Oregon Ducks at two. I
Yeah,
think that they have a better resume than Ohio State right now as well.
yeah. I almost said Ohio State. Like, wait, that doesn't seem right. Or Oregon's still. I don't know if they've played anybody who's uh, good,
I
but
still, I will say, I think Penn State is still a better win than anyone that Ohio State has on their resume yet,
I would agree with that at this point here.
especially in Happy Valley too. Like that has to be
Mhm.
considered.
Oh, for sure. I think Oregon, like, I don't know if they're going to be Indiana next week, but like
Yeah,
if they do, I'll give them their flowers.
yeah. It's 11-0 Blue Jays in case you were curious.
I mean, they won a World Series here in Atlanta, so
Hell
congratulations.
yeah.
Uh, back in '92, back before you and I could read or knew what the hell was going on.
100%.
At three, I've got Ole Miss.
Okay, I've got Ohio State at three, and I've got Ole Miss at four. I'm gonna assume you have Ohio State at four.
Yeah,
Okay, which it's splitting hairs between those two.
I think for me, I don't really know how to say. I just feel like Lane Kiffin's got a better pulse of his team than Ryan Day, and that's not Ryan Day's fault. Ryan
Yeah,
Day's got to bring in two new coordinators and new quarterback. Julian Sayin finally looked the part there in Columbus versus Minnesota. That's not good. That's
yeah.
okay.
Poor PJ Fleck.
And Ole Miss was on a bye, but like they've won conference games. They've looked the part. I think that that's the best team in the SEC right now, and I think that things can change pretty quickly. We're splitting hairs here, but like there's not a whole lot here. We're talking about Ole Miss, and then the Ole Miss comes over here.
That's right. She's, she heard her name get called. But no, I mean, You're probably right. Ole Miss probably does have a better resume to this point than Ohio State. Like, I don't think that's really in the question. The win over LSU is a better win than anything Ohio State has. I just, I'm still struggling to some degree to look at this and think that Ole Miss doesn't slip up. Like, this just, like,
Yeah,
it's not that they haven't looked good. That's not the case, but like, I watched what happened in the Kentucky game. The Kentucky game was a lot closer than it should have been for the second straight year, and it just feels like that DNA is going to be hard to kick, even if Ole Miss does have the easiest schedule in the SEC among the contenders.
you could lose between the hedges in 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and but also that game scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a hell of a game.
All right, so we have the same teams that are all getting buys. Five, I've got Alabama at five.
I've got A&M at 5.
I've got A&M a little bit further down, but I've got A&M getting a first round home game, so that's good.
Okay, nice, nice. Go ahead and make your Alabama points because I'm interested.
I think Ryan Grubb just has it figured out,
Hmm.
and I think getting Jam Miller back has really added an interesting wrinkle to the offense. I think this team loves playing for the staff. Caden Proctor has has taken his game to another level. He's not just a big fat tub of goo. He's a great player now.
Yeah.
Says a fat tub of goo right here. But Ty Simpson's playing out of his mind. Like he's doing stuff right now where I'm like, this is a top five. This is a top five pick that we're seeing here. I said like, oh, he's doing stuff like that Mac Jones did at Alabama. That's doing him disservice. He's doing stuff that Matthew Stafford did at Georgia.
Yeah, no, 100%. I have Alabama a little lower. I'm interested. I would almost guess that we probably have Alabama and A&M flipped based on the way you're talking about it. But for me, it really cut like I've been impressed with Alabama. To me, it comes down to the schedule between the two of them. Texas A&M just has a much easier path to get a higher seed than Alabama does. Like you look at the schedule that Texas A&M has remaining, they only have 3 ranked opponents left, and I would venture to guess that I don't think Florida, Arkansas, or South Carolina is going to end up getting ranked at any point soon either. And you have at LSU, at Missouri, and then at Texas. And granted, those are all road games, but Texas is obviously beatable. Like Texas A&M is probably favored even at DKR in that game. LSU completely beatable. We still don't know what Garrett Nussmeier's in this offense look like. And if Garrett Nussmeier is going to be healthy, Missouri, they have a big game to prove it this week. Then on the flip side of that, you look at Alabama's schedule. You got Missouri this week. Then it's third Saturday in October to host Tennessee. You have South Carolina the following week. You host LSU the week after that. You then, or the game after that, excuse me, you have a bye in between. You host Oklahoma, and then you go to Jordan Hare for the Iron Bowl to finish. It's like that's a much tougher road than what A&M has to navigate. And like it as good as Alabama is playing, they're probably going to drop one and I can see Texas A&M actually running the table.
My concern with A&M is, this is untrodden territory
Yeah.
for them. They're not a front runner, and neither is Ole Miss. And I think that like they don't know how to do this. Whereas I would trust, I don't trust Brian Kelly LSU. I trust LSU when they're a front runner to do this. I trust Alabama and I trust Georgia far more. And even Texas, but Texas doesn't really. I think that they've kind of lost that card at this point. But
Yeah.
again, I still view A&M favorably.
100%.
Six, I've got the Indiana Hoosiers.
I also have the Indiana Hoosiers at 6.
I think they might win an Autzen. I'm feeling pretty good about that right now. I could go back on this. I think Fernando is could be special for them. I have a hard time seeing him play for anybody but the LA Rams in 2 years.
Hmm.
I think Coach Sig's kind of coming with a plan here, and this is a different Indiana team than what we watched a year ago. I I would not be shocked if what we see in Autzen is the Big Ten championship.
No, wouldn't be shocked at all. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like this Indiana team is a better version of what we saw a year ago, and they beat the dog water out of every bad team that they play. But now I think they can compete with the big boys in the Big Ten.
And I think that that's fair. Totally. So seven for me, I have Georgia at seven, and the reason I've got Georgia at seven, this is like a line of demarcation between them and A&M. I just feel like the teams that I have in the top seven right now, I'm like, these are all teams that like I have a very hard time seeing not making the playoff based
Yeah,
on ta talent, coaching, everything like that. I know you probably got Georgia in here somewhere. I don't know if you have
I
them at
do.
seven, but like I kind of feel like the team is starting to kind of play with a better sense of urgency. That was the Kentucky win was like their most cohesive victory they've had in quite a while, and I thought that they kind of woke up a little bit. And I saw players such as London Humphreys take a step up,
Yeah.
Cash Jones be locked in, Dylan Bell be locked in, Bo Hughley, who's been asked to do a lot, is really stepping up. Drew Boba pulling man, still got to figure out what the hell we're doing on defense, but. I feel that like Georgia's like trying to remind us all that they're still Georgia. Obviously, got to win Auburn this weekend and then hold your own versus Ole Miss in 2 weeks. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I have Georgia at 8, so I still have them hosting a playoff game. Not worried, but at 7, I have Texas Tech. Uh, Kind of to the point we were talking about with the AP Top 25 with BYU specifically. I think Texas Tech is just the clear class of this conference. Like it would not shock me at this point that if they run the table and end up 13-0 with a win in Arlington. And hell, they might be higher than 7 if that happens, but I'm leaving some grace just because they're probably going to drop one because that's what the Big 12 does at some point. But having said that, like this team just looks thoroughly dominant in a lot of facets, especially in comparison to their Big 12 peers. And like I can't quite get past that. And I think that they're like the way they're trending right now, they're destined to host a playoff game.
and I think that that's totally within play. I've got A&M at 8 and Texas Tech at 9.
Okay.
And I think like the biggest difference is why A&M gets the home game for me at this time is I think they've just recruited at a higher level for a little bit longer, and I think I think when it push comes to shove, I think Elko's a better coach than Joey McGuire.
I mean, that's probably completely fair, but Elko has to navigate the SEC while Joey McGuire has to navigate the Big 12.
Yeah. So who do you have at 9?
At 9, I have Oklahoma, who you might not have in your field. That's okay if you don't, but I'm still a believer in the Sooners. As long as like, I think they probably couldn't ask for a better outcome than for Texas to be essing the bed the way that they are right now. Because yes, I would love to see John Mateer in that game, but if you can give him another week to get healthier and still pick up a victory, which I think they are fully capable of doing in Red River next week, that's a really good thing for Oklahoma to get your quarterback healthy and still be able to remain undefeated to that point. And if they like, they're going to drop games. Oklahoma's not going to run through the gauntlet that they have to run unscathed, and that's why I have them, not hosting a playoff game. But I think their 10-2 is going to be one of the strongest 10-2s in the country, and I think that 10-2 is definitely feasible when you have Mateer healthy and when you have the level of defense that they're playing right now.
They are the king of the 89.5. That was me in high school. That's what we do. I have Oklahoma at 10. I think keeping
Okay.
them out of the playoff field wouldn't have been fair here. Percentages are not in their favor right now. I think FPI has them in and around 50%, give or take a few here and there. Obviously, you're winning games. You're playing with a lot of confidence. Right now, defense is playing good. Texas has been booty cheeks. You'll probably win in Red River, although I think the Longhorns are laying 3.5 at neutral site. That may eventually be pushed down to probably like 1.5. I don't know if it'll flip to Oklahoma,
I don't think it'll flip. That's a lot. That's a long way to go to flip.
but yeah, Oklahoma's playing with a lot of confidence here. And I do feel if any team goes 9-3 this year to make the playoff, it's probably going to be them.
Yeah.
I just think this is a 10-2 ceiling team.
I mean, and that's probably fair with the schedule that they have, but I think that with what we've seen, to me at least, they've not given me a reason to believe that they can't reach that ceiling, if that makes sense.
All right. So who do you have? Did you have you share your 10 yet? I'm trying
I
to
have
figure out.
not. My 10 is Alabama.
Okay.
And to the same point that I made earlier, like I just think the schedule is going to be hard for them to navigate. I think that the defense I'm still a little bit concerned about despite the upgrades that have been made on offense. I think that you're going to run into some teams. Hell, you might run into one this week with Missouri that can really take advantage of this defense and kind of match what you're doing on the offensive side of the ball. And when you get into those coin flippy offensive shootout type of games, like that can be a little bit scary. And I think Alabama's going to get clipped at least once more by that. And at the end of the day, like I still think it's a really damn good football team. But when you start doing the math of how that's going to shake out, that probably has them a little bit lower as a seed.
And that's who I have at 11, Missouri.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. I might actually have a little bit bolder call for you at 11 than Missouri, though.
Oh, God. During the offseason, I picked Mizzou to go 9-3 this year, and I have them beating Alabama. So, and I think this was like a schedule thing. Again, we knew like, okay, Georgia off a bye. Then you got Vanderbilt, which is going to be tough. And then you got this. I feel that the attrition may eventually get to them. Mizzou's coming off a bye here. They'll probably get to 6-0. I don't necessarily know if Missouri is going to be able to get to Atlanta. They do have a relatively navigable schedule, but like I feel like they might lose to, like Oklahoma. That might decide a playoff game there for the Peace Pipe. They've got other tough games too, but again, that's a bottom quarter schedule in the SEC. I really want to see what Bo Pribula does on the big stage. So that's why
Yeah,
I've
I
got
mean,
them at 11.
it's a big trap game spot for Alabama too. Like you're coming off the revenge game against Vanderbilt after what happened last year, and then you have third Saturday in October looming the following week. So
Yeah.
really good spot for Missouri to catch Alabama in, that's for sure. And in Como, no doubt about that. This brings me no joy to say what I'm about to say, John Buhler. I have Notre Dame as my 11th seed.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
So this is all projection. They're not an 11 seed right now, but if we're predicting what the playoff field's going to look like, all the stars are aligning. Okay, I have Miami as my 1 seed and Texas A&M as my number 5 seed. Notre Dame lost to them by a combined 4 points. And those are probably going to be Notre Dame's only 2 losses on the season. When you look at this schedule for Notre Dame, you have home for NC State, home for USC, at Boston College, home for Navy, at Pittsburgh, home for Syracuse, and at Stanford. They're not losing any of those games, barring just cataclysmic, just essing the bed. Like USC is the only game that you would be worried about, and you get it in South Bend. And I think that Marcus Freeman and that coaching staff are going to coach circles around Lincoln Riley and USC at this point. Like this is going to be a team that ends up at 10-2, and those 2 losses are going to be potentially top, like at worst, probably top 15 teams in the country, most likely top 10 teams in the country, and you lost by like less than one possession combined to the two of them. So like I'm looking at this and I'm just like, this is a pathway for Notre Dame to get in. And then the fact that when you look at the most recent AP Top 25, I was very intentional not to mention this because I knew I was going to talk about it here. They're at number 16 already, despite the fact that they're 3-2 on the season. Like it's the seeds are already being planted to get Notre Dame into the playoff field when you look at what the AP voters are doing. And I understand the College Football Playoff Selection Committee is its own thing, but they do take signals from what the AP voters are doing. And the fact that Notre Dame is already very close to being one of the first 4 out, and they have nothing but 7 more wins to get on their schedule. They're only like as everyone else in the SEC and the Big Ten beats the hell out of one another, and the Big 12 as well. Notre Dame's going to come in and just swoop in and get that 11 seed.
You prepared your whole life for this. I'm so proud of you, Cody Williams.
Again, it brings me no joy because I don't think this is that good of a Notre Dame team, but like
No,
the stage is very much set for this.
my concern is they're not going to have a ranked win. And let me put it this way: if you beat USC, it's a double-edged sword. You have to win this game, and if you beat USC, USC is not going to be ranked. It's not going to be a quality win.
Yeah.
Although we keep propping up Florida for some reason as a quality win there as well. But Notre Dame is interesting. We talked about this in a previous show about like can they make the playoff? I'm like they could. I don't know if their percentage is good, but they rank really high in FPI. So
Mhm.
maybe they could. I'm impressed that you had them in here. They were not in my first 4 out. They're probably like 15 or 16 for me, and that's fair.
It was when I saw him in 16 in the AP poll, I was like, wait a damn minute. Because like
All right.
I knew what the schedule looked like, and I was like, this is not going to be what I want, but I think it's going to happen for the Irish.
All right. I've got Memphis winning the group of five. Who do you have at 12?
I still have USF. I still think USF's the better team between them and Memphis, which we'll find out in a few weeks, which I'm looking forward to.
Hope game day goes there.
That would be sick. That would be so sick.
I don't know if it's in Liberty Bowl or Tampa, but either way, like who cares? Just go there.
I think it's in the Liberty Bowl. It is. It's in the Liberty Bowl,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
sick.
go to Memphis. Yeah, do
Yeah.
that. So, in my first 4 out, Tennessee was my first team out. Michigan second, LSU third, BYU four.
My first 4 out are Tennessee, Michigan, Georgia Tech, and Mizzou. So, a
Yeah.
lot of same characters.
Okay, so let's go through our ranking matchups. I'll go first. So I've got Miami, Oregon, Ohio State, Ole Miss, and a bye. Your 5-12 Alabama hosting Memphis. That's I don't know. I don't know about that.
That game
Uh,
needs a trophy. I know that much. Like,
you play for the white sauce, the jar of white
that's
sauce.
right.
6-11 Indiana versus Mizzou. That feels like a basketball game.
Yeah, it does.
7-10 Georgia hosting Oklahoma.
Hmm.
And then 8-9 you got a Texas A&M versus Texas Tech. I think they probably do play for a trophy. I don't know what it is. They probably play for like something that they found off of like Buddy Holly's plane or some shit.
It's
I don't
they
know.
play for the
I don't
Yell leader in 1983, just like the rights to his services.
they play for they play for the person.
That's right.
Uh
I have the same four teams on a bye as you do. I have Texas A&M playing host to USF. No trophy needed there. Don't want one. Indiana hosting Notre Dame would be a hell of a fun time in Bloomington for that. Um, Texas Tech hosting Alabama. Uh, can't say I ever we'll ever see that unless it happens in the college football playoff. That doesn't seem like a matchup that's coming down the pipeline anytime soon. And then I also have Georgia hosting Oklahoma just in the 8-9 slot instead of the 7-10.
well, let's go. That is some utterly fantastic stuff. We talked about this team a little bit in the lead up to this week. So let's ask a question with our next topic with some do Host or do Host.
Yes, sir.
Cody, can Vanderbilt actually still make the playoff?
It's two Haas with one S. They can't. Will they? I don't quite think so, but can they? Absolutely. You have a loss to Alabama. Obviously, that's not great, but it's not going to hurt you by any stretch. We think Alabama is a pretty clear-cut playoff team at this point. You have a loss to a playoff team in a game that was much closer than 30 to 14 looks like. Like Alabama scored a touchdown to also cover. Just in case anyone was curious about that, they were 10.5 point favorites, leading by 9, and scored a late touchdown. But I mean, you have nothing but opportunities abound, and you have a bye week to prepare for it coming in with your SEC schedule. You host LSU, you host Missouri, on the road at Texas, host Auburn, host Kentucky, on the road at Tennessee. Those are resume building wins. Hell, you could lose one of those games and still make it into the playoff if you are Vanderbilt. That's going to build your resume. And to that point, we've talked about it. Vanderbilt is capable of beating every team that's still remaining on their schedule. Whether or not they do it, that's not what we're talking about here. They are capable of it. And college football is weird. It doesn't always play out X's and O's the way you think it's going to. But with the opportunities that they have and with the quality of this Vanderbilt team, they absolutely can still make the playoff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do Haas 1S. They had a very high percentage last week. I think they were like 47, almost 50% a week ago. Right now, you've got what, two? You got three top 15 teams still on the schedule. You get two of them at home with LSU and Mizzou back to back. Then you got to play at Tennessee. At Texas is going to be challenging. You own Hugh Freeze and Auburn if he's still coaching at that point. Kentucky's probably the worst team in the SEC right now. I don't know if that's true, but like they've got some issues here. My thing is like you got to go 10-2. You have the resume to do it. You're not getting in at 9-3. And like I said, I think on last night's show, at Tennessee might be for a playoff bid because
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at who they have on their resume, um, okay, Alabama's going to get it over you. You effectively have to knock out LSU, Missouri, Texas, and Tennessee because Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and A&M, like you really can't control anything that they're doing.
Right.
So, but I think the SEC is capable of getting five teams in this year,
Yeah.
and I'm not crossing Vanderbilt off to be the fifth best team in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that, looking at this, like it's absolutely, the Tennessee game could be for a playoff spot, but I think it's absolutely pivotal for Vanderbilt's college football playoff chances that you beat LSU and Missouri because those are kind of like your direct competition. If they have a head-to-head win over you, or vice versa, if you have a head-to-head win over them, that's going to be a deciding factor when the selection committee meets to decide what teams are in the playoff. So like those two games are super crucial. I think Tennessee will kind of, yes, that still could be that rivalry matchup could be a game for a playoff spot, but at the same time, there's also a world where Tennessee has already sorted itself out. Like, let's say they lose third Saturday in October to Alabama. Like,
Yeah.
that's going to really put them behind the eight ball in that capacity. And like, you would probably need the Vanderbilt win to have even a chance, but you probably might still be behind Vanderbilt if Vanderbilt takes care of business. So like I think the Missouri and the LSU games are the ones that Vanderbilt needs to have circled, and lo and behold, they get a bye going into that for a coaching staff that I have the utmost faith in. So like that's a really good spot for them to be in.
Yeah, I think the resume stuff, like you need to beat Tennessee anyway, and you need to
Yeah.
beat Mizzou because those teams don't have the resume building opportunities that you do. Vanderbilt had what outside of Oklahoma and Florida had the hardest schedule in the country. It's like them and Texas. Like that was the
Hmm.
four hardest. And that's the upper quartile in the SEC, the bottom, Ole Miss, Missouri, Tennessee. I think it might actually be LSU in retrospect if I'm trying to think, or Mississippi State, one of those two.
Yeah.
But like you got to knock those teams off there that like if they beat you, this is good for them. But if you lose to them, it's doubly bad there. And again, like Vanderbilt can afford one more loss, but even at that point, like they'll be on the cutting room floor if they get it or not as like a 10 seed or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think that Vanderbilt is in a position where I don't foresee them winning out. Like that's tough to do with the schedule that you have before that, but at 10-2, like you're probably really not in consideration to host a playoff game.
No, no, I think the chances of them going 11-1, it's not happening. Like they're not winning out, but
Yeah.
like they could probably go what 5-1 in their last
Yeah.
second half of their schedule. I think that's
100%.
possible.
Yeah. I mean, this is a damn good football team, man.
100%. I don't have much to add to that. That felt pretty good. Again, we said we weren't going to bury them, and this is why.
Yeah, exactly. You can't bury them. There's still a lot of opportunities to be had, and like I didn't come out of the Alabama game thinking that they can't take advantage of those opportunities.
No, but we're going to bury these next guys. Let's do some TI and 10 with our next segment here.
Yes, sir.
The 10 most regrettable moves of the offseason. This could be players transferring, this could be coaches in a new spot here. And we'll have some overlap. I think this is all over the place. There's going to be candidates that you and I probably both overlooked, but we're
Yeah.
looking at this about 6 weeks and we're like, this hasn't been great. Who do you have at 10 to start?
I have I went for a dark horse pick here for number 10. I think Tim Albin made a mistake leaving Ohio for Charlotte. Um
Yeah.
Charlotte's pretty damn bad, and like I know Tim Albin's a good coach, so I know it's not the coaching that's the problem with what's going on down there. I think Charlotte's just a really tough place to win at, man. You're competing with the Triangle, you're competing with Wake Forest, you're competing with Clemson and South Carolina with where Charlotte's geographically located. Like as a G5 program, the only one of the bunch that we're talking about in that group, that's a really tough place to be. Then you throw in your East Carolinas in there, like
Yeah.
Tim Albin had a good thing going in the MAC at Ohio, and like I think he made a huge blunder even if it was for the money, I don't care. Like, I think for the future of your coaching career, you made a mistake going to Charlotte.
Since we've been covering the sport professionally, like Ohio has been a top five program in the MAC year in, year out. Some years they win it, but they're usually kind of right there. It's a testament to what Frank Solich built there for a long time.
Mhm.
That thing kind of runs itself. You want to walk away from that for more money. And you mentioned East Carolina. This is a program that has notoriously paid the price from leaving Conference USA to level up in a bigger spot. Like East Carolina's got fantastic fans, good football stuff, everything like that, but like the resources are like not quite there, and they can't compete at the American like they used to be able to in their previous conference.
Right. And I mean, Charlotte's still a relatively new football program in the grand scheme of things, too. Like, that can't, like, you want to talk about resource, like, there's no tradition to build off of.
No, no, I love that addition here. Didn't have Tim Albin on here, but that's a great one. At number 10 for me, I've got Devin Brown, the quarterback,
Mm. Yeah.
the 40 something quarterback with his jersey number going from Ohio State to Cal. He thought like, okay, I got an opportunity to start. I'm going to play for a defensive minded head coach, do some ball control. And then Jerry Kiwi Sagapulatelli comes in and is just infinitely more talented than you. Oregon really wanted him. He was briefly committed or enrolled there. And now you're just looking like a guy that's never going to see the field there, regardless of what Cal does or doesn't do. So you've kind of got Wally pipped again, like you got Wally pipped by so many people there in Columbus, and now it's happening there in Berkeley.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I did not have Devin Brown on my list, but definitely not the decision you'd want to make for the future of your career.
All right, who do you got at 9?
I've got Oklahoma State at number 9, and the biggest mistake was not seeing the writing on the wall with Mike Gundy. Like, and I also look at this from a perspective of we talked about it right before Gundy ended up getting fired, but like I thought Gundy for in what he had done in Stillwater throughout his career, he deserved the respect to finish out a season and not be fired mid-season. Like there's something just more humiliating about being fired mid-season than there is being fired at the end of the season. But man, after what we watched with Oklahoma State last year, were there really signs that things were going to get better? Like, you should have seen the writing on the wall and kind of just gotten that. And like, now not only are you disrespecting Mike Gundy by firing him mid-season because you didn't have the balls to do it in the offseason, but now you set your program back further because you have another year without a new regime in there.
And you're banking on Zach Robinson taking this job. I don't necessarily know that he will.
Right.
And you got to figure that out. That's a really good call there. Didn't have Oklahoma State in that situation on here, but I like that on here. Number 9 for me, I got Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
This may come back to bite me in the ass, but I think he's just not a passer.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of Peyton Thorne nonsense out there, and I'm trying to convince myself that Auburn can beat Georgia, but I don't know if they will. This guy's going to cost Hugh Freeze his job and set the program back. Auburn's going to be in a really bad spot with Stephen Pearl and whatever the hell comes out of the post Hugh Freeze thing. Like I don't even unless you want to give Eli Drinkwitz 10 million a year, like this thing's cooked.
I mean, Auburn's never been shy about wanting to give someone $10 million a year. So, you could do a lot worse than Eli.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's his dream job, and he'll
Yeah.
have options. He'll use that as leverage from either Mizzou, Arkansas, Florida if that potentially opens up, and then obviously Auburn if that opens up too. But I just with Jackson Arnold, I'm like, he doesn't see the field at all. He's had enough starts where like I thought Gunnar Stockton wasn't going to see the field, but there's vision, there's confidence. It's just too frenetic there with Arnold, and I don't think that like for a program like Auburn, you have to do better than that at quarterback.
No, I'm still not writing Auburn and Jackson Arnold off completely just yet, but the point is definitely true to this point. Like this is not this is not the bill of goods that Auburn fans were sold when Jackson Arnold came to town.
No, no. All right. So who do you have at 8?
At 8, I have Deion Sanders in Colorado, and their lack of decisiveness at quarterback is how I framed it. We kind of tabbed this early, which we'll pat ourselves on the back a little bit here. But when he brought Caden Salter and Juju Lewis to Big 12 media days, that was a red flag. That's you in a post Shador Sanders world. You definitely want to see some sort of like decisive direction that you're going in, and it's been even worse than that because now we've got I've already forgotten the kid's name, but the kid that Dion compared to Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther Staub, man, Reading
That's
Gospel.
right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, like it's just quarterback indecisiveness, and like, where does Colorado go from here? Like, they just feel such like incredibly listless as a program right now, and I think the lack of decisiveness at quarterback is a big reason why.
The best thing going for Colorado besides getting a Ralphie that'll run now is I found out about a Warren Sapp's pregame ritual. He kicks over all the pylons.
Love that. Love that.
One of my least favorite NFL players for obvious Atlanta Falcons reasons,
Yeah.
but like this checks.
Post career, just what a guy.
And the reason I was able to bury Jackson Arnold here is because at number 8, I'm going to bury my guy. I'm going to bury Texas A&M transfer Noah Thomas to Georgia.
Okay.
He's had 3 catches.
Yeah.
Like it's become very clear that he has no rapport with Gunnar Stockton. It's difficult to get him out in the field. And it's not like Stockton's not looking his way. He's spreading the ball around pretty effectively, whether that be Zachariah Branch, London Humphreys, Dylan Bell. Uh, he's throwing it to his tight ends, whether that's Lawson Lucky, Oscar Delp, the guys out of the backfield. I mean, Taylor Taylor, or whatever his name was, the guy that got hurt, that almost had that catch versus Alabama. Wish he
Yeah.
would have come down with that. Outside of Austin P, Noah Thomas hasn't factored into this at all. This happens to some guys that come in here and transfer to Georgia. But obviously, if he stayed at A&M, he's playing potentially for a better team. But they're probably rather have Casey Concepcion.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Noah Thomas is just a big loser of the offseason himself because he's probably at best wide receiver 3 if he stays at A&M.
Yes. Who do you have at 7?
At seven, this is probably too low for this, if I'm being honest, but it's South Carolina hiring Mike Shula. Brother, what the hell? Like, we were so excited to watch the North Sellers in this offense this year, and it is not fun. Like, it's not, you have one of the most fun players in the country, and you somehow made him not fun. Like, congratulations, Mike Shula. And you've also dramatically lowered South Carolina's ceiling in the process because of it.
This is the first one like I wish I had on here because I was all about this. I saw it in person there at the
Yeah,
Benz. I'm like, this is not good. Mike Shula's got a last name and a job. And that's
yeah.
it.
He's no new Heisel, that's for sure.
No, Jerry Neuheisel's gonna be a great coach. You know what? Good for him. He got the opportunity to be an OC. He loves that place and he played there. Give him the job. Let him be the next coach at UCLA. Why not? Who
A
cares?
100%. And I do want to shout out really cool, like just human moment. I don't know if you saw Rick Neuheisel on the CBS broadcast talking about his son getting the win. Like that was a cool moment for college football.
And Rick Neuheisel gave his all for UCLA too, multiple
100%.
times. Yeah, so
100%.
that's a big opportunity. And on that, and on that note, at seven for me, it's Nico Yamayama.
That's number six for me. So I was giving UCLA their flowers before I dumped on them.
It's tough because he played his best game there. This is the Nico we kind of always expected, but like the worst part about it all is like I think Joey Aguilar is just a better fit in a Josh Heupel offense than you. He throws with more touch, anticipation, everything else like that. And sometimes when you're just sitting there, it's like the guy can't read a rim.
Yeah.
And it shows that UCLA doesn't have quit in them. They're not the worst team in the Big Ten. That's Wisconsin.
No.
So they'll win other games here. And I think, if you beat Penn State, you can beat a lot of other teams in your schedule. You still have hope here. Just finish the season on a strong note. You could still technically achieve bowl eligibility. But
Yeah, and like I probably would have had adding Nico higher than number six had it not been for the fact like I do think it is meaningful that UCLA was willing to invest in Nico.
yeah,
Obviously, not as much money as Tennessee or that Nico was looking for, or that Tennessee was, but nonetheless, still invest over what was, I believe it was reported still over like 1.5 million, like somewhere in that range. And like for where this UCLA program is, that's not nothing. You know what I mean?
no,
And so like it probably would be higher for that. It turns out it might not be the best investment of those funds, but the fact that they're willing to invest and take a swing like that, there is it like I'll give them some credit for that, but it's obviously not worked out.
no. And a guy that they gave a lot of investment to at number six for me, that's Jaden Zackott.
He was on the cutting room floor for me. I probably had him at like number 11.
Yeah, like he finally got some touch. He had a wellness check to make sure that he was still alive versus Kent State and everything like that.
Yeah.
She's going to the bathroom, so maybe I have to clean something up here in a minute. I don't know. It's fine. Uh, if it stinks, I'll let you know. But yeah,
Okay.
Jaden Zackott, I thought it was going to be perfect, and that's kind of why I'm down in Oklahoma. It's like you haven't been able to make it work with this guy. You need him to win the SEC. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's been an odd investment, no, to say the least.
All right, who's five for you?
Clemson and Davis Sweeney, man, just rinsing and repeating like you always have been, and not doing anything. That's the worst move here for them is just sitting here on your like and twiddling your thumbs and thinking that. And you know what? I'll throw myself into this as well, just because I believed in it. But like, you ran back a team that was lackluster against the highest level of competition last year, and you're doing it again. And lo and behold, they're even worse now because the rest of the league has leveled up around, or the rest of college football at the highest level has leveled up around you. And it's extremely frustrating to see a program that has had the highs that Clemson has had in recent memory and also could still achieve those highs. Like I think that's the most frustrating part with Clemson is Clemson has gone from top of the sport to now almost being a sleeping giant, except Dabo's just feeding it melatonin constantly.
I've got a Clemson bit coming up here in a little bit, and I'll echo that here. But yeah, I'm okay with that there for you at five. Number five for me, a guy who puts me through hell. That's Billy Edwards Jr. just being made of paper
Mm,
mache.
mm,
Not only did you go from a team that was 5-7 that wasn't that good last year, a team that had quit on Mike Loxley, that
yeah,
lost the locker room, you brought whatever bubonic plague is with you into Madison,
yeah,
and you have no dog in you. Danny O'Neil has better dog than you. Honestly, Hunter Simmons has looked better than in one game than I think Billy Edwards has looked in two quarters and two drives. Not only that, Malik Washington looks legit
Mhm.
for Maryland.
Yeah.
Mike Locke is going to keep his job, and you're looking at Billy Edwards Jr. It's like maybe he takes a red shirt here and plays like Sam Houston or some nonsense next year.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going on the JT Daniels. Let's get progressively lower with our the prestige of the program that we're going to be playing for throughout our long college career.
Amen, brother. Who do you have it for?
At four, I have James Franklin and Penn State choosing the wrong quarterback, brother. You let Bo Pribula out the building, and he is a far better player than Drew Aller. Like
I,
it's tough.
yeah, I've got Penn State a little bit higher up here, but yeah, that's this is a team that doesn't know what it's doing.
No, I have one that I'm assuming you don't have two Wisconsin things on here, and I have one that's going to replace it a little bit higher for Billy Edwards.
I think that's fair. At number four, the highest ranked player, Mekhi Hughes.
That's an oversight by me. I did not have Mekhi Hughes on here.
If he was with the Greenies, they maybe win the American.
Mhm.
Now you can't even get on the field at Oregon. He's gone for a red shirt. I think that's going to come back to bite them in the ass later
It's not out of the realm of possibility. That's for damn sure.
on. All right. The top three for us. This is going to be amazing. Who do you have at three?
At three is where I have Wisconsin, and Bueller, this is before you were on the Wisconsin beat. Let us not forget that Wisconsin handed out a contract extension to Luke Fickell in February of this year. That's a thing that
Unbelievable.
happened. And we talk about like why Luke Fickell hasn't been fired yet. It's because the buyout is prohibitive. And why is it prohibitive? Because you made it prohibitive literally like 7 months ago. What the hell are you doing, Wisconsin? Like, at what point in Luke Fickell's tenure up to this year had he shown that he was worthy of an extension? Like, it hadn't been as bad as it is now, but it sure as hell wasn't good. It sure as hell wasn't a good thing and like trending in the right direction. And now it's just bottoming out, and you're stuck with this bill that you ran up the tab and now you have to pay it.
Worst head coach in the Power Four by a country mile. There's other coaches down there that are doing a really bad job here as well, but this was like the lack of oversight here is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just malpractice, it's incompetence, it's just like I literally think this man makes every decision just after chugging a bunch of Miller Lite. He is so stupid. He is so
He's David Ershon out on the ledge.
David Ershon out of a ledge and what is it? David Wallace falling off the ledge. That's kind of what
That's
he's doing.
right.
Three for me is we got Clemson. Tom Allen, why the hell did you leave Penn State to go to Clemson?
That's a good call.
You could have been at Penn State. You could have kept the defense going. You thought, okay, I want to get into like the SE, the southeastern part of the United States, being an SEC adjacent Clemson, replacing a Wes Goodman who wasn't good. Thinking, okay, maybe I could be a head coach again. This season for him there at Clemson has basically prevented that from happening. I
Yeah.
don't know where he's going to get that jump start to get back because I think at some point he'll be a head coach again.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be Power Four.
I would venture to guess not at this point. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, he's getting up there, but I mean, like maybe down the line, but certainly not anytime soon.
He's like 50, 55, so he's got time, but like his next job will be at South Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that.
All right, two for you.
Probably could have been number one, but North Carolina hired Bill Belichick, John Bueller.
That's number one for me. I'm sorry, brother.
I I I I don't have a whole lot of words. It's just depressing, man. It's not fun. Like I will say, like, I have enjoyed so far this season being able to be a little agnostic when it comes to college football. Like, I truly don't have rooting interest right now in college football because there's no point in rooting for North Carolina football right now.
No, no. And I think this is a thing when you've got a guy who's like over 50 years old going by a nickname. If your name's like Bubba or Skip, like grow up.
Yeah. And I will say though, my preseason take of this goes one of two ways. It either works or it's just an abject disaster, as proven correct. There was never going to be a middle ground with this. There was
This
never going to be a middle ground.
this is I'll tell you what this is. This is the equivalent that I've lived through with this. This is a Tom Crean at Georgia.
Yes, 100%.
Like
With a 24-year-old involved.
we had the hardballs involved. I don't know what's worse. Um,
They have the mental capacity of a 24-year-old.
they all have Arrested Development upstairs. I don't know if you saw this. Like, what was it like? It was going on Twitter over the weekend. It was like the 33-year anniversary of the Harbaugh blow up versus Mike Ditka in '92 versus the Vikings, where Jim Harbaugh called an audible and they blew like a 20-0 lead to lose in the Metrodome, 21-20. They ended up picking Harbaugh over Ditka after that season because he got fired, and they got rid of Harbaugh the next year, and he had a really good run there with the Colts.
Yeah. Uh, Shouts to the hardballs, man.
Because I'm sitting there like, how to go sideways for him besides him being just a psychopath. But like, I think that's part of it too.
Oh, it's
Um,
got to be.
yeah, yeah. Tom Crean, Georgia, Bill Belichick, like these jobs are not easy, but
No,
you don't have to make it this unnecessarily difficult, and that's something as a management major and my guy in my mid to late 30s now, I'm like, I can't tolerate anymore. Like
no, 100%.
I have no patience. So that was number one for me. And at number two, Jim Knowles leaving Ohio State for Penn State.
Mhm. Yeah.
You burned a bridge. You left the best college football program for the nail and the hammer versus nail rivalry. I understand. This is also like this cost you an opportunity to be a Power Four head coach. Not
Hmm.
that he would want that. I think the last time he coached was like what, Cornell back in the day or something. But
Yeah, it's been a minute.
like you could have been the head coach at Duke. You could have
Hmm.
been the head coach at you could have been the head coach at I don't know, I'm trying to think what's another job, Northwestern. Like you'd
Yeah.
it'd be and you would have done a fine job at both of those places. Like this is you've got the James Franklin stink on you. Andy Koltnecki can't tie his shoes. Drew Aller can't comb his hair,
No, God,
clearly.
no. God, no.
Um, I bet you if you put what's sadder in a room together, Cade Klubnik and Drew Aller, or just Morrissey by himself with a mirror.
Probably the first option.
I am the son of the heir of nothing in particular.
Morrissey at least likes to hear himself talk and sing. So there's that.
I know. At least he's got that going for him. And that was a lot of fun. I'm kind of
Oh,
surprised
I
that
still
like
have my number one. I haven't
oh
gotten my
yeah,
number one yet.
go
Uh,
ahead.
um, it goes back a little bit further than this offseason, but it came to a head this offseason. Texas recruiting Arch Manning.
Oh, let's go, brother.
All right. I thought about this last night instead of sleeping, so I'm running on like 4.5 hours sleep. So this is a really
Love
well-baked
it.
theory,
Love it.
obviously. Um, the more I think about it, the best path for Arch Manning was going to a place where he would have started immediately. And any program that didn't recognize that would have been in trouble because this was always going to happen based on what Arch Manning's background was. We talked about it on Saturday night. We talked about it with the level of competition he faced at Isidore Newman. Like it was not the highest level of competition. You were obviously going to be making a huge leap wherever powerful program you went to. You should have gone to somewhere where you were going to be given the keys and been a kingmaker. Instead, he went to Texas and sat for 2 years behind Quinn Ewers. And all that did was build a palpable excitement and getting ready for what Arch Manning was going to bring. And that led to this year where it's Arch Manning's time. It's time to absolutely like make this happen. And like for Texas to have be the number one ranked team in the preseason poll, to win a national championship, but the learning curve hadn't been shortened at all. Like the practice reps are only going to mean so much. It's not live bullets that you're out there facing. It's not going to get you ready and get you ready for the level of competition that you had never faced before in your entire college or in your entire football career. And the more I look at it, Texas set itself up in a horrible position because they sat him behind for 2 years, let the hype build, and now they're in a position where you can't bench Arch Manning. You like there's no world where you can get away with that and that's going to happen. That's going to be a media like S storm. And like you cannot possibly do that. It's a PR nightmare. And Texas shot itself in the foot by recruiting Arch Manning in the first place, but more importantly, leading in this offseason, just like crowning him and having all this hype build to a fever pitch.
God, I love this. You went scorched earth. Our Manning getting that's what you did.
That's right.
So we cover his recruitment all on fanside.com. So the five schools that were the most after him that seemed like could get him. Texas beat out Georgia.
Mhm.
Third place, I believe, was Alabama. Fourth was Ole Miss, and five was Clemson. Those were the programs that had the most strong ties to him. I kind of wonder if it would have been any better at any of those spots, which is why I'm not going to put words to your mouth, but you might agree with me here. The other schools in the periphery that were looking at him that next tier were SMU, Duke, and Virginia. He might have been better going to one of them.
Yeah, and if we're gonna stick with the top five, Ole Miss probably would have had like Lane Kiffin would have had the balls to start him immediately. Whereas and like that's not like Kirby Smart obviously has a lot of guts. Like I'm not saying that they don't, but like Lane Kiffin would have been like, yeah, this is Arch Manning's team now for the next however long he's gonna be here. This is Arch Manning's team.
And I also think about this. This is a Texas thing. What's the point of AJ Millie? What's he do?
Yeah, I have no idea.
If Arch would have gone to Georgia, he'd be better than this because at least Bobo would have developed him.
Bobo would have developed him, and Bobo also would have been like, I mean, frankly, Bobo would have been able to run the ball around him, which you're not doing right now at Texas.
And I mean, you look at who was at Alabama, whether that would have been Bill O'Brien, Tommy Reese, or Ryan Grubb, or probably maybe not last year, but
Yeah,
like it'd be more developed than whatever we're seeing now.
correct. 100%.
Oh man, like you can't bench him, dude. It's
No,
so
you can't.
bad.
You're stuck with this.
Man, this is like, where I'm thankful, like you still have Ryan Puglisi on there, and he could probably start in the Power Four. He's probably going to transfer at some point for NIL purposes, but like I trust him if Stockton got hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
Whereas with
100%.
Texas, it's like you're all in on this.
Yeah, I mean, like you invested the near future in this, and that investment's tanking right now.
Malik Murphy, who's not winning a single game at Oregon State, is better than Arch Manning.
Yeah, 100%.
God, we went for the kill there. I absolutely love that. And on that note, let's move on to some more bad stuff with our penultimate topic. With it's getting hot in here.
Mhm.
Our five hottest seats in college football. I only did Power Four coaches here, but I know there's a. I'll say Trent Dilfer is not on my list. He might be on yours, but
He
that's
is.
that's worthy of saying it here. I'll get us started here with my number five. That's Mark Stoops.
Oh, okay, nice.
I'm kind of wondering at the point there, like this has gotten stale. I think also the fact you cannot find an offensive coordinator outside of Liam Cohen. Like Bush Hamden can't do a damn thing. Bush Hamden is literally like uh, what a French Stewart shoving a pen through his hand there on Celebrity Jeopardy. And the worst part is like what Cutter Bollier, their quarterback, is for Kentucky. Like he's
Mhm.
not bad. It just
No,
they have no. You have an offensive line. I'm just like the play calling is so bad. And Stoops is as clueless at figuring out an offense of any head coach I've ever seen. Like this is
yeah,
for a defensive mind, like it's like Ed Orgeron. Like he has no clue.
he's perfect for Iowa.
Or you know what? How about you fire Glenn Schumann and come to Athens, brother.
There we go. I mean, that'd be sick.
That'd be dope here. I don't know if he's on the list for you. Who do you got? Who do you got at five?
I do not have Mark Stoops on the list. He would crack the top 10. But at number five, I have Bill O'Brien at Boston College.
He was my first guy out.
It's going south quick, man. It's there was some hope last year. Like they despite, the Thomas Castellanos. Sorry, I'm mixing up Tommy and which one was Tommy and which one was Thomas. But Thomas Castellanos, like there was that like that should have probably been a warning sign for how this was going in Chestnut Hill, but it wasn't because Boston College still went and made a bowl game. And like you thought, okay, things can turning in the right direction. We know Bill O'Brien's well traveled, well experienced, and this could work out. Brother, it's not working out. It's not like it, you've lost to Stanford. You've got one win on the season over I believe it was Fordham that they beat, who is 1-5 in not FBS. So like things are not going well and like for being as difficult of a job as Boston College is, they got a quick trigger within the program to when they want to make a coaching change, and I think we're trending towards that pretty quickly.
That's the only reason he didn't crack my list is I think it's a little bit too premature here. I thought Lonergan to be better, or if he's even playing. I don't know. Boston College is like the most anonymous team right now. Like they're anonymously.
Yeah, no, Laudergan was playing. I haven't. I won't lie to you. I haven't watched Boston College the past couple weeks, but I prefer my mental health. But yeah.
Protect yourself. So at four, I've got Hugh Freeze.
Okay, he's my first one off the list. I have him at six.
If you lose the Deep South's oldest rivalry to Georgia, that's three in a row. You will have lost to Oklahoma. You will have lost to A&M. You will have lost to Georgia. And these are all teams that you're supposed to be as good, if not better than. Auburn's the worst team in the country that can still win a national championship. It's just Hugh Freeze just seems like he's cutting corners.
Yeah.
He's shaving points. He's what's it called when you cheat in golf with strokes?
Oh, sandbagging.
Yeah, he's sandbagging. That's what he's doing. And then I think the fact like you just lost the plot at quarterback here, and I think honestly a couple of years ago, I maybe it was like last year with Bo Wallace just went absolutely after him.
Yeah.
I think nobody likes this guy, and honestly, like I almost feel sorry for Auburn, but y'all can
Yeah.
kick rocks.
Right.
Let's just hope we don't lose to you guys. But this is Hugh Freeze needs to win this game to really take some pressure off. I don't know if he will.
No, I don't know if he will either. And like if we were to do this after losing to Georgia, let's say they lose to Georgia and we were doing, it's getting hot in here after. Hugh Freeze is cracking the top five because he hasn't lost the game yet. I'm not going to put him up there, but like as of right now, it looks like you had Peyton Thorne, who when that didn't work out, you kind of sold that as the stopgap while you were building the rest of the roster, and the hope was you're going to bring in someone better, and you hitched your wagon to Jackson Arnold. Well, brother, right now it just looks like you don't know how to evaluate quarterbacks.
No, 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 you don't. So who do you have it for?
Uh, Probably a little bold, probably a little premature. Don't really care. James Franklin. We got to talk about it.
I've got him at three.
Yeah, we've got to talk about it, man. Like I said it on Saturday night. You're not even driving anymore this year, man. And you're not only not getting to 10-2 this year, you're not getting to 10-2 in the year that you were talking about potentially going 12-0, 11-1, being a national championship contender. And it's the worst season you've had in quite some time at Penn State. Like there is clearly something that you cannot get it done in this job. And at a certain point, Penn State should be too proud to continue with this mediocrity and this BS.
This might be the ninth or tenth best team in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Like, and he rested his laurels on coming in there replacing Bill O'Brien 2 years after he replaced Joe Paterno. Had that great 3 year run at Vanderbilt. Well, guess what? Vanderbilt's better than it was when you were under you. Again, he's a guy that can take you from decent to good. I don't think he can ever take you from being great to outstanding.
Yeah.
This is worse than Mark Richt Georgia football. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think like what's like a good example of this. This isn't even like Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma.
I'm gonna be honest, man. This feels almost singular. Like I don't like because I don't think someone like Mark Richt at a certain point was not given the leash that James Franklin's being given. You know what I
No,
mean? And like I think that's where I come down on it. Is like you look at this situation and no one's been given more leeway, more leash, and for mediocrity by the standard of a high level program than James Franklin has in this job.
I'm going to be really disrespectful. You know what this is? This is Ron Zook, Florida.
That's a good call. I like that. That's probably as close as you're gonna come for sure.
Because I mean, Spurrier got the Washington job. He had to take it,
Yeah.
and like you followed a guy that did a lot of great things there. You should have had some momentum, and maybe Franklin's done a great job in some instances, but like there's you're not winning a national championship with this guy. You're an 8-4 team, so you've gone from this to this.
Yeah. And no one drives like that.
Yeah, this is almost this is a shrug.
Yeah.
I don't know how many letters are in Colt Nicky's last name, but it's Andy's four and Colt Nicky's close enough to eight.
That's right. That's right.
It's 10 or whatever. Yeah, James Franklin's here. So yeah, he's my three. Who's your three?
Billy Napier. His seat's cooled off a little bit. It's not, I mean, he's probably still going to get fired, but it's cooled off a little bit. I'm not going to belabor the point with Billy Napier. It's just, I actually thought about including Florida not firing Billy Napier last year on my list of 10 worst offseason decisions. Like, this just isn't, he doesn't seem to have his finger on the pulse of what Florida needs. I think like you mentioned it on Saturday night, I think he is still well liked by these players. I think that these players still play hard for him most of the time when things are not going extremely poorly. But man, I don't think he's a wartime coach also. And this is wartime in Gainesville right now.
Yeah, he was off my board. He's kind of like 7, 8, 9. Like he's probably that one over Texas is going to do a lot for him. It's going to take us the pressure off. Like he'll
But
coach in
at
the
the end of the
cocktail. Like,
day, they're still 2-3.
yeah, I know. He's in that David Braun range. Like Northwestern's like 3-2. She does not like Billy Napier. She just wants to go out. Um, but yeah, Billy Napier, I considered him. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give him some credit here. I might still put him on the hot seat for Badger of Honor tomorrow, Tuesday, whenever I
Yeah,
write that article. Um, two for me. I got Bill Belichick at two.
I didn't include Bill Belichick on my list just because I don't even think the seat's hot. I think he's just like frankly, I honestly don't. I would strongly urge Bubba Cunningham and the administration to fire him. I don't know if it's going to happen. I truly don't.
I think that's fair. So we may have the same one. I think number two, or no, I don't know. I'm not gonna board too much. Who do you have it to?
I have Trent Dilfer at number two. I did
That's
include
a
Trent Dilfer as my number
yeah.
two. And he's a really bad football coach. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like, this defense has been one of the worst in FBS for since he got there and has shown no signs of improvement. And it's wild to think about a quarterback who won a Super Bowl on the back of a defense thinks that he's just going to win with offense and like not have anything to do on the other side of the ball. It's mind blowing, but it's been the same formula for 3 years now. And like it's a formula that does not work. And I think the most damning part of it is, interestingly enough, because they just lost to Army, but like when you watch this team and this defense play against the triple option team, it's the least prepared thing you've ever seen in your entire life.
So I've interviewed Trent Dilfer for one of my best interviews ever. Such a nice, wonderful guy.
Yeah.
He had a great NFL career. Like it was disjointed. I mean, he played at Fresno State, seventh round pick. This is the guy that Kuiper said the Colts should have drafted, but Harbaugh had
Yeah.
that great year. Trev Alberts. They took Trev Alberts over him. But he made a Pro Bowl there with the Bucks. He was like the first good Bucks quarterback ever, like
Mhm.
before like Steve Young and Vinny Testaverde figured it out. Had success there. Obviously, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. He's had a very challenging life, obviously, with the passing of his son and everything
Right.
like that. Good analyst and everything like that. But like the fact that I feel UAB is just decadent right now, given who UAB is, that's he probably needs to go.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I'm not trying to take personal shots at Trent Dilfer. I just don't think he's a college football coach.
No. And I don't think Luke Fickell's a college football coach either.
Nope.
No. He might get fired before this goes live. This guy is, I know I can't belabor the point enough here. I'm gonna hang my hat on this. I was so right. Like this is not gonna work. I saw
Yeah.
this before anybody else did. I will say this. He needs to go be a defensive coordinator. And I know where he's going to work next year. He's going to work at Notre Dame. He's going to replace Chris Ash, and he's going to work
Mm.
under Marcus Freeman.
I mean, that's a great fit. Absolutely phenomenal fit.
I just,
Would you take him at
no,
Georgia?
that'd be, I, he's too much of a Midwesterner to fit at Georgia, to be honest with
Fair.
you.
Completely fair. That's why I was asking.
I think there'd be he would try to alpha Kirby, and
Mm.
Kirby's like, I'm not going to trust you with this. Like Kirby's like, I'm just better at this.
Kirby would
Like,
also beat his ass too. So there's
yeah.
that.
Also, Kirby's really tight with Will Muschamp and Mark Stoops. Like he'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about it. I was just curious. Your thoughts.
I know. And she wants us to be done here. So let's move on. Let's move on to like our last topic here with this or that. I have the wheel going.
Oh yeah.
If you just write these down so we don't overlap here. We're gonna do a six pack of two pairs here, and we're gonna say which teams do we like the vibes with. Let's start right now with our first team. No, I don't want to share this. I'm not sharing this to Rosemary. She doesn't care. Like, why are you sharing? First team we have is the Memphis Tigers,
Oh hell yeah.
and our second team is the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders.
Give me Memphis. Middle Tennessee in a bad spot right now.
One of the best teams in Tennessee and one of the worst teams in Tennessee. And Middle Tennessee is awful. They lost to Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yep. Derek Mason didn't have him on the hot seat, but he probably should be.
Yeah. Okay, let's do the next one. Here we go. Our first team is gonna be Mississippi State. going up against South Florida.
Ooh,
That is really
that's
tough.
a fun one. I
Yeah.
like that. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna lean South Florida just vibes wise, just barely though, because I like Mississippi State's still playing hard, man. Like they played they're just not as good as Texas A&M. That's really what it comes down to. They're not as good as Tennessee, but they still give Tennessee a scare. They pushed Texas A&M for 2.5 quarters, but USF like they're vying for a legitimate college football playoff spot, and like that's gonna increase the vibes just a little bit more.
Where Mississippi State is now is where South Florida was like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
They're on the same trajectory.
yeah, 100%. Like that's a fun one though because I think like to be clear, I think the vibes are high in both places. Like I think if you're a fan of either program, you have to be in like feeling good about yourself right now.
100% agree. All right, round number three. First team is gonna be Texas.
Oh God.
And our second team is gonna be Texas A&M. God.
Uh gonna give a slight lean to the Aggies, brother.
Oh God, Lone Star Showdown is gonna be it's gonna be unbelievable.
Dude, I what the hell, Longhorns.
Horns down forever. All right, round number four. Let's go with UMass. uh, going up against Marshall.
Oh God.
I have no okay. Let's look at the schedules just because like I don't think we have a real good things. Okay, UMass is now in the MAC, so that's really good for them.
They're also 0 and 5.
Not going well there for Joe Harrisimiak. And I think Marshall has a win there in the Sun Belt. They're 2-3, so I guess the Thundering Herd wins by default.
Yeah, I mean, shout they beat Middle Tennessee, so we'll give them some credit.
All right, round number five. These pairings have been great. Arizona State
Oh yeah.
going up against USC.
Ooh, that's another good. We've gotten some good ones today. Like UMass versus Marshall's not a fun one by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good one because they're
Yes.
both not great. I think I'm gonna go Arizona State just because
Maybe,
there's a little less scar tissue.
yeah, I think everybody in Tempe and in the Valley still loves Kenny Dillingham,
Yeah,
and I think people in Los Angeles just kind of think that
put up with Lincoln Riley essentially.
yeah, I think Tom Sandoval is more liked in Los Angeles than him.
Yeah, and like I also think that just thinking from like a Kenny Dillingham perspective, I think he's probably pretty happy that his team lost to Mississippi State because you're no longer like feeling like the hunted, which is what you were coming into the season feeling like.
The weird part is they both kind of made excuses about travel, but Dillingham's like, we had to fly to Memphis and drive in because we couldn't get a hotel.
Yeah. Like you had like Starkville does have some travel complications.
Uh, Champaign Urbana a little bit too, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. You didn't kill the Pac-12 for that though. And the last one. Let's go with our last one here. This is going to be great. Penn State, of course, it's Penn State.
Christ.
In the Penn State going up against Utah State.
Oddly enough, I'm gonna go with Penn State on this one. Utah State has not looked very good. I've caught a little bit of them late night, and it's not a fun watch. Vibes are not good at Penn State by any stretch of the imagination. Let's be clear about that. But at least you were in the college football playoff semifinals a year ago. Utah State is going nowhere fast.
So Utah State's also 3-2. Their three wins are over UTEP, Air Force, and McNeese. Their two losses are at A&M and Vanderbilt, so that's about what they should be.
Yeah,
Penn State, I'm gonna look at this. Have they even beaten a Power Four team
they have
yet?
not. No, them and neither them nor Texas have.
So they beat Nevada, FIU, and Villanova, and they lost to Oregon and UCLA. You know what? I'm going Utah State U.
Hell yeah, brother. Do it, man. Can't
Because you
fault
know
you.
what? You know what? Because at least they've done what they should have done. Or Penn State could have been 5-0, but they should be 4-1 and they're three
Yeah,
and two.
yeah, 100%.
And this was episode 215 of False Start. You can follow me, John Buhler, on Twitter or the X at Buhler118. You can follow Cody Williams at the Sizzle20. You can follow the show at CFB False Start. Like, rate, listen, subscribe, review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere there's podcasts. Give us a 5-star review, just like the recruiting ranking that we gave Arch Manning that out of high school because of his last name.
That's right. Yeah, the adopted son of the Manning family.
Oh my God. Like he's not adopted, he's got the ears, dude.
It's true. It's I mean like there's no need for an actual DNA test.
No.
The transference of football ability though is in question.
It sure is, man. I'll tell you what, like help me riff a little bit so I can get to like I can get us out of here because this
No,
dog.
100%. It's like I think we've mentioned it like there's such parity in the sport. Like what I said about the Big 12 throughout the offseason, it has come like it's permeated throughout the entirety of college football. Like there's maybe four or five like actually really good teams in this sport. And you would hope that in a parity-filled sport that someone with the last name Manning playing quarterback at a school like Texas with the resources and talent that's around him would be able to get by. And brother, you're not even getting by. You're living under the bridge, my friend.
Dude, I'm over there petting Lucy and like I felt like the fart reverberated through her. So
That's and Austin felt the fart of Arch Manning reverberate through it as well.
be better than a geriatric Greyhound fart in whatever you do in life because this is false.